In this video, we're going to talk about the right way to do a GLP-1 agonist. Now, if you didn't get a chance to watch the first video, please go back and watch it because I talk about the reasons why people have negative feelings about GLP-1 agonists, why people shame people who take a GLP-1 agonist, why I have no problems sharing it because I actually feel like I can do a lot of good in the world by shedding light on why it's such a good tool to use for many people. Not everyone, but many people. Obviously, talk to your doctor, but then what you should be doing to do it the right way. Now, what would be the wrong way to do a GLP-1 agonist? I think it's Charlie Munger who would. I don't know if it's Munger or Munger. I think it's Munger. Charlie Munger, who said that if you wanted to know like the right thing to do, invert the process, ask what would be the wrong way to do it. The wrong way to do a GLP-1 would be you take the jab, you change nothing else in your life, you just eat less and you start losing weight. And unfortunately, that's what most people do because it is just so easy to do that. The second you take that, after you get off the therapeutic dose, even the test dose for me, because they start you off low to see how your body reacts to it, numbed a lot of my appetite in the beginning. And one of the things that does is it lowers your metabolism because your body will adapt. So if I explained this in the last video, but let's say that your body normally burns 2,500 calories and now all of a sudden you just start only eating 1,000, your body will adapt. It's going to down cycle. And now maybe it's burning only 1,200 or closer to 1,000 calories a day. And you'll lose a ton of weight still over time because it takes time for this to happen. But then what happens is people kind of stall out and then they eat a little less and they stall out and they eat a little less and then they just keep upping their dose and upping their dose. And before you know it, they've lost all this weight, but they have absolutely killed their metabolism. They've lost so much of their lean mass and their muscle, skeletal muscle mass, and they just look frail and they look sunken in. And then if they say, okay, I'm at the weight I want to be, and they go off of it, their body just starts gaining the weight back because it doesn't upcycle as quick. So as they start getting hungry again and they start eating just normal food, they're now, even if they're within the realm of their weight of what they should be eating calories, they start putting the weight back on because now they're in a calorie surplus. It's kind of funny how that works, that even though like, hey, I weigh 173 pounds, I should be able to eat 2,300 calories a day. Even if you're eating what your maintenance calories should be, you can still just start gaining all that weight back because your body has downcycled because it wants to survive. So here's the right way to do it. Your goal should be to be focused on the insulin benefits and changing your lifestyle during this time. View this, step number one is view this as a means to an end. I don't know about you guys, but my insurance didn't cover it. So I had to pay for $500 a month out of pocket to Eli Lilly. They have a self-pay option, which I can make a different video for that on how to get approved if through your doctor if you need to on that. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you want, what that process looks like. I can make a video. But you have to view it as a means to an end. Hey, I'm not going to be on this forever. So I got to start making changes from day one. I have to start behavioral changing. I have to quit. I quit drinking because I viewed that as something that was making me munch. And then it made me feel sluggish and it took away my drive for wanting to work out. I didn't work out before. I hadn't worked out since I was like 16. And even back then, I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't have a gym routine, nothing like that. So you have to think about, why did I get where I was? Why did I get fat? It's because I had low activity, I was in a calorie surplus, and my diet sucked. That's what it came down to. Now, here's the thing. Even when you are fat, like I was, you do have lean mass. Now, lean mass is going to be defined, I don't need to write this down. Lean mass is going to be defined as everything in your body other than fat. So it would be your muscle, it would be your organs, your bones, all that. You have lean mass in there. In fact, my lean mass was technically higher when I initially started this whole thing because it is nearly impossible to lose weight in a calorie deficit and lose a lot of weight without losing some lean mass. I'm not saying it's impossible, and I'll make a video on like ways to retain that lean mass, but it will. I'm using one of those scales where Tesla, and we'll talk about that in a second. Your electrical signals, they're not 100% accurate, but it's estimating that since the beginning, out of my 60 whatever pounds lost, 62, 64 pounds lost, it's estimating that about 10 to 11 pounds of that was lean mass. Now, I wasn't strong back then. I'm much stronger than now. I can lift heavier than I can then. My neural system has adapted. It's more defined. In fact, my muscles are even look physically bigger than they did, partially because fat loss, but also because the muscles have gotten more defined. But the point is we all have lean mass in us, and the more lean mass that you have, the better your metabolism is. It's estimated that for every 1 pound of muscle that you have, that you'll burn an extra 10 calories a day just by having it. It's like your body will just burn that many more calories just because you have that extra pound of muscle. That adds up. That means that if you can put on an extra 5 pounds of muscle in the next year or whatever, that's pretty good. You're increasing your calorie burn quite a bit on a weekly, daily, monthly basis. It all just starts adding up. Now, here's something that you need to focus on: retaining muscle mass. When you go into your GLP-1 and you take it from day one, your step should be 100% about preservation of muscle mass, because the fat is going to fall off if you start changing your lifestyle, but you want to keep that lean body mass. So you need to get a scale. It's not going to be 100% accurate. You got to know this, but you need to get, I'm going to put this number 2 here. You need to get a scale, and I'm going to recommend the one my father has over the one that I have, because his seems to have better ratings. It's a Hume. They say that theirs is like 90% close to a DEXA. I haven't tested it against the DEXA, so I don't know, but it's got great reviews. Mine, it's like I have to look at the weekly averages on it to see. But what the scales will do, it has like a little set handles, and it sends the electrical magnetics through your system, and it'll show you, here's your water weight, here's your lean mass, here's your fat mass, etc. I don't want you to even think about the top line number. I know it's really hard, but let's say that right now you weigh 250 pounds. Your goal right now should just be to lose subcutaneous and visceral fat. Visceral being the big one, because that's the one that's your insulin, makes your insulin resistance shoot through the roof. And the way that you do this is by resistance training, protein, creatine, and there's a couple other supplements that you can take too. But those are, if I had to just narrow it down to a few, I would say resistance training, minimum of 3 times a week. I'm doing 5 days a week. Protein and creatine. Now, based off if you're a female or a male, it's going to vary. Because I'm a dude, I'll just tell you what I'm doing. You can go and do some research for yourself, but I'm doing 1 gram of protein per body pound. So like right now, I'm getting at least 175, even though I'm 173, 175 grams of protein every single day. By doing this, what's going to happen is there's going to be plenty of aminos available to my body. And so when my body is trying to look for energy, because I'm in a calorie deficit of about 300 calories every day, what it's going to do is it's going to start, it's going to not look to break down muscle mass for energy. The aminos will be readily available, and you'll be able to keep growing muscle because you're flourishing protein into your muscles. The secondary thing is creatine. There's a loading phase that you do. I'm taking right now about 15, let's see here, 15 grams of creatine monohydrate per day. However, only about 5 of that is needed for muscle. The rest for me is because there's cognitive benefits to creatine as well. But you do a loading phase, and what that does is that helps saturate your muscles, where it's going to pull glycogen and water into your muscles, allow them to feel full. It's going to help you to recover better, and there's plenty of studies showing that it is truly wonderful for building muscle, and there's a lot of cognitive benefits behind it as well. This is so important because when you are in a calorie deficit, it is so easy to lose lean mass, and it's going to happen anyways. It's going to happen anyways, but the less you can lose, the better. You see, it might feel great to say, wow, I lost 5 pounds this week. But what if you found out 2.5 to 3 pounds of that was muscle and the rest was fat? What that's going to end up doing is when you get down to your goal weight, you're going to get what they call skinny fat, where not only have you wrecked your metabolism, but you're like, man, I still need to lose more because I still have this little gut on me. You have to maintain muscle. So that's why I say the jab itself can't do this for you, because it can't go to, just like the epidural doesn't push the baby out. You have got to get disciplined. You have got to go to the gym and start working out. You have got to start focusing on nutrition. And that means you're going to have to start counting calories, not because you're scared you're going to go over, but because I'm scared you're going to go too far under. You have to figure out what right now your maintenance calories are. You can do this. There's so many. You could just go on ChatGPT and say, help me figure out my maintenance calories. And it's going to ask you questions about your age, height, this and that, blah, 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 blah. It'll spit out what your maintenance calories are. Then what you want to do is say, okay, I'm going to try to be in about 500 calorie deficit from there. And that's why you want to do it, because there are times where you are so stuffed because of this slowed gastric emptying that you get when you're on a GLP-1, and you have to start throughout the day making sure that you are hitting that. Because if you don't, you will destroy your metabolism. This is why when I got off of it, no cravings. I'm not like ravaging anything. I don't have food noise. It's because I forced myself to eat the right amount of calories. Now, you got to make sure you're doing it right, because if you eat junk, you will feel sick. You don't want to feel sick. So you figure out how your body's going to react to these things. But protein first, making sure you're hitting your calories, and that's it. So if you just started in that mentality from day one, I'm going to start resistance training, I'm going to get my protein up, I'm going to take my creatine, and I'm going to make sure I'm hitting my calories. Those 4 things, you are going to be so much further ahead than anyone else on a GLP-1. Now, maybe you don't lose it as fast as other people because you're not trying to go into that 1,500 calorie deficit, but you're going to look better. You're going to look more defined. Like, people will start seeing like a muscle mass and shape coming out through you. You're not going to have your face sunken in. Like, I don't feel like I have that Sharon Kelly Osbourne look, like my face is sunken in. And you have so much more energy. And now that you're creating real habits and lifestyle changes, when you go off of it, it's the new you. Now, people can say, yeah, but if you ever go back to the, doing this, and this, you're going to gain weight. That's true for anyone. And you know what? I'm the kind of person where I have to be really strict on things. So like, you could drink alcohol and still lose weight. There's no reason why you couldn't. It just slows everything down and it's unnecessary calories. But I have formed such a transactional relationship with food throughout this process that what ends up happening is, yeah, I'll give you an example. We were at this place called Cooper's Hawk in Brookfield, Wisconsin. And I'm looking at the menu thinking, what do I want? What do I want? And I'm like, you know what I'm going to get? I'm going to get this. It was like beef with some sauce and veggies. And when they brought it out, right around my entire plate, they put garlic bread on it. Now, I'll tell you what, 8 months ago, 7 months ago, that would have been my dopamine receptors firing. I would have been, I need this garlic bread, blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm not against carbs. I'll talk about that in a little bit here, but in the moment, it was not the right time for me to be eating carbs because I knew that the meatballs already had some carbs in it from the breadcrumbs. So I just took the bread, put it off to the side, and I ate that meat. It was great, felt good about it. But man, I'll tell you what, that was not always the case. I would have had a hard time doing that. I've built such a transactional relationship with food that I look at that and I say, okay, if I eat this, how much protein will I get? How much protein have I already eaten? I still need 40 grams of protein even after I eat this meal. You know what? I'm not going to have that bread because I need to have enough calories still in my bank to eat that later on I can still eat something and get myself up to my protein intake. You see, when you have something like protein that you're focused on, you build a transactional relationship with food. And you start looking at it saying, what do I get for this? If I eat this, what does this actually end up doing for me? Because since you're resistance training and you're working out in the gym so much, that becomes like the catalyst of what you're fueling and what you're trying to do. You have to become obsessed and excited about the gym. I look forward to the gym all day. It is something, the endorphins that get released there have become such the highlight of my day. And I know it wasn't always. I used to hate going and doing it. It was painful. It was like I couldn't wait for it to be over with. Now it is such the highlight of my day that everything else is focused around it. I'm thinking about my recovery. I'm thinking about my food. Probably drives other people nuts. But you know what? If you're going to get obsessed over something, what a good thing to get obsessed over. Being healthy, wellness, this sort of stuff. And that's why I feel like I'm not worried. If I gain my weight back, it's not because it was a GLP-1 agonist that I took. If I gain my weight back, it's because somewhere along the line I just lost my discipline and became an idiot again. And that could happen on any diet. That could happen whether you went keto or anything. If you go back to old ways, I'll tell you though, when you've been there, you've been miserable, unhealthy, and now it's like I feel satisfied, I feel healthy, I feel full, I feel my activity levels, my energy, just everything is great. I just have a real hard time thinking that I would go back to that. I really struggle. It would have to be there was a life change where I got depressed and something that sent me down into a hole, but hopefully I would lean into this instead. So my point is though, you have to go into this the right way. You have to go into this saying, I'm going to up my protein. I'm going to work out minimum of 3 times a week. And I'll go through what you should do on those workouts in the next video. Obviously, I'm not a bodybuilder, but I'll go through what I'm doing on those workouts. And then making sure that you're getting hitting your calories, not in too much of a deficit. And what'll happen is when you go off of it, because your goal should be every month, should I go off of it now? Can I go off of it now? When you get to that point where you're ready to go off of it, if you just keep your nutrition the same, where you go really high protein, high fiber, so that way you're feeling satisfied. Protein makes you feel full. And so it's not that I don't get hungry, but like today, I had a nice protein shake before my workout. Afterwards, I had chopped turkey and brisket from a barbecue place on half of a baked potato because you need carbs to reload after a good workout. I'll probably have a protein shake in a couple hours, and then I'll finish off dinner with something that's a little bit more lean meat with veggie. And I'll feel full, I'll be happy, and then tonight I'll probably have what they call protein ice cream, which I really love the protein ice cream. Low calorie, high protein in it. And it's got allulose for sweetener, so it tastes incredible. But anyways, I don't feel bad. I feel like I'm not depriving myself of anything. I actually feel like I look forward to the meals that I have. And so I say this because if you're on a GLP-1 right now and you're not doing this, time to switch. Time to start doing this. And you might gain a little weight back even while on the GLP-1 to do this, but you need to do this because otherwise, what's the plan? Are you just going to keep injecting yourself for the rest of your life? Is that your new reality? We don't know the long-term effects of it. We don't. I will say this, the only negative side effect I had when I stopped taking it was I have a spinal cord condition called syringomyelia, and it causes nerve pain. And Zepbound specifically, which is the one that I was on, it would reduce your inflammation. And I noticed when I went off of it that my nerve pain started coming back. So actually, after being off of it for a little while, my foot pain, because of the nerve pain, came back so strong. I had given myself another dose of it to see if it truly was the Zepbound. And within like a day, my foot pain was gone. And then I started taking some other supplements, natural stuff, to help with the inflammation. I got a buildup of turmeric in myself and omegas and different stuff like that. And now, been off of it for a while now again, and my pain has been reduced significantly. But that was the only negative thing that I had come back. And that's not even anything I could help. If you don't have a spinal cord disease, you're not going to have that. So my point is this is the way to get off of it. This is the way to, but it's going to require a life change. You have to become a completely different person, a completely different you. And if you're not willing to do that, then I would really ask myself, why are you doing this anyways? Because this will just shrivel you up, kill your metabolism, make you probably kill longevity on your life. If you don't do it the right way, in the long run, it will be less healthy for you. um, I will add one last thing here. When I was weighing out the decision whether or not I wanted to do this GLP-1 or not, I looked at the side effects. And the side effects for like Zepbound, for instance, is people can have stomach issues, pancreas issues, liver issues, and they never had this in human studies, but in the rodents, there were potential increased C cells, which is cancer in the thyroid for people. They've never had that yet occur in a human. We'll see what ends up happening. But they say if you have thyroid issues or pancreas issues, you should stay away from it. I had, when I first started taking it, and actually I'll go into that in just a moment, but when I was weighing out those side effects, I weighed it against obesity. So I'm a big proponent of AI. I own an AI software. So I went and I said, please tell me what gives me a higher risk. The risk of remaining obese for the foreseeable future or taking Zepbound. And it broke down for me. And if I just stayed the way I was, it was a guarantee that I was going to have issues, chronic issues because of obesity. The benefits of taking the tirzepatide far outweighed the chronic certainties that would occur if I would have stayed obese. Now, with that said, you can also reduce side effects by staying extremely hydrated, changing your lifestyle, changing things, and then getting off of it. But now I feel like I've achieved the best of both worlds because I was able to get all the benefits of that, and now I'm off of it. So I don't have the long-term risks of any of these things anymore because I'm not taking it anymore. And all of my blood work, everything has only gotten better. It's only gotten better. So I would urge anyone to do that, because if you're like, I don't know if I want to take a lot of medication for weight loss. Okay, but are you taking a medication right now for sleep apnea? Are you taking it for blood pressure? Like, there's all these medications that people are taking to patch the issues on their body without just solving the core problem. So it's like this weird cultural shame that people have because they think they're doing it for Hollywood vanity. It has nothing to do with Hollywood vanity. I'm a married man with 3 kids. I don't give a crap what, other people think about how my body, in the sense of I'm not trying to be attractive to other people. I want to live a long time for my wife and kids and increase the longevity of my life. That's what my goal is here. Has nothing to. So there's this weird shame people have where they're like, no, I don't want to take that, but I'll take acid reflux medication. Okay, so why are you okay taking the acid reflux? And why are you okay taking the blood pressure? And why are you okay taking all these other Band-Aid pills that you have? But the thing that could actually solve your life's issues right now, you're not willing to take because of shame? Get over it. And if you're one of the people that feels like it's less honorable for someone to lose weight because they wanted to be more insulin sensitive, because they wanted to be able to change their behavioral habits and actually change their life, I would guarantee you that if you're one of those people that you're either fat and overweight, or you're in a spot where you haven't been able to afford or get this kind of a medication, and there's some sort of weird resistance or anger that you have towards this. And that's something that we can't help you with. That's a self-reflection. That's just a negative thing. And if you're surrounded by those kinds of people, you have 2 options. Just don't be around them. Don't talk to them about the stuff. If it's family, obviously you got to love your family. You got to be with them. But if just don't bring up the topic around them, it is what it is. If they don't want to support you getting healthy, then that's on them. But if you're somebody who's a family member who's been thinking these things, and you're thinking that towards us, well, hopefully now hearing that it wasn't they think of it like, oh, he wanted the shortcut. It's not a shortcut in the sense that most people think of it. Yes, it helps you to become insulin sensitive. Yes, it slows gastric emptying and it suppresses your appetite, but some of those things are actually harmful in the long run. The things that really it does for it is it allows you to reset your dopamine receptors. It allows you to become insulin sensitive so that way your body actually has a fighting chance to just lose its stored fat. It's a chronic condition that you end up facing as you get into it. The thing that I have come to terms with is that the reason, and I think everyone has to get here, the reason you get fat is because of bad decisions. That's just the reality of it. It's just bad decisions. Now, I'm not saying that every person who's out there who's fat can't fix it or can just fix it, because there's medical cases. But I'll just say for someone such as myself, I was fat because of bad decisions. Now, let's say somebody's got a chronic illness where nerve damage, pain, they can't. I know people like this where they can't be active. They literally are in so much pain just trying to get out of bed. This message doesn't belong to them. That's a completely different thing. I have so much empathy and compassion and feel sorry for those people because I don't even know what I would do in that situation. But I'm saying for the average person who has the ability to get up and take a walk and go to the gym, if you're fat like I was, it's a decision to be fat. It's a choice. And the reason why that's important is now we're taking accountability for it. We're not blaming anyone else. We're not blaming genetics, because weight loss and fat is just math. But the math can be hard. Here's an example. 3,500 calories is equal to about 1 pound. So that means, like, if I say, hey, you know what? I want to lose 2 pounds every week. I need to figure out how by the end of the week, I could have cut out 7,000 calories out of my life. Oh, I don't know why I put a dollar symbol. You can tell I'm in business. 7,000 calories out of my life if I wanted to do that. So I have two choices on this. I could either eat less calories or I could burn more, or a better approach is a hybrid of both. So now I break that down and I say, okay, that would mean I need to be in 1,000 calorie deficit a day. That's a bit too much. I don't want to be in 1,000 calorie deficit a day. So you know what? If when it comes to nutritionally eating, because I don't want to kill my metabolism. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to be in a 500 calorie deficit every day. And then I'm going to try to burn an extra 500 calories a day. Well, how would you do that? Well, you do resistance training and you could take a nice 45-minute walk. Boom, you've done it. And now you're getting a nice build of the both, and now you're going to keep losing 2 pounds. The problem is that when you're insulin resistant, the math isn't so easy because the insulin makes your fat hang on, or your fat stores blocked, and it makes it much harder for you to be able to lose this weight. So that's why the injection is nice. Also, when you're insulin resistant, your hunger, just being in this deficit, is going to be through the roof. You're going to be miserable. Your head's going to hurt. It's just horrible. It's like going, I'm not comparing it to birth pain because I've never gone birth pain, but it's like this pain where, if you could take an injection like the epidural can make your birth pain more enjoyable, why would you not do it to make this more enjoyable? So that's what we went through as fat people. That's what, and in the process, you know what? It is so hard to change your behaviors when you're angry and stressed. That is another thing to think about. It is hard to view things positively. For instance, if I'm starved and I feel deprived and my brain is just going through the roof because I'm in a calorie deficit, and now I'm going to the gym and I'm hungry, am I enjoying myself at the gym? Am I excited about going to the gym? No. So what am I doing? I'm training the gym my brain that this sucks. This is hard. This is uncomfortable. But if I take that injection and I'm comfortable with my new deficit, in fact, I'm having to force myself to eat more calories because I'm so comfortable. And now I'm at the gym working out and I'm seeing myself getting stronger and I'm seeing changes in my body and I'm feeling good about myself. What do you think that's teaching me behaviorally? It's training your brain to do it the right way again. So many of us wish we could go back to being a kid when we had perfect little metabolisms and we could have just done it right the first way. But the reality is we didn't have the knowledge that we have now. And so that's what this channel for me is going to heavily be about, is helping people to develop the knowledge that I've been able to acquire on how the body works. And I'm going to dumb it down to myself because I'm a dumb, I'm a simple-minded person. I have to, it takes me a while to be able to understand these concepts. So I'm going to simplify it in a way that everyone can understand it. But what's nice is you can take anything that I've said, go fact check it, because I am not saying this from any of my own smarts. These are just studies that I've read, books that I've read, uh, things that I've been able to research in forums, etc., and then going and putting them into my own personal life and experience. So I feel good about the way that I've done things because I've changed my brain, I've changed my habits. I love health, wellness, and fitness now. I look forward to the gym. To me, nutrition has become like a game where I literally feel like I'm just eating things transactionally to try to, for instance, let's say that I'm experiencing a little like rotary cuff pain or something. I start researching like what can I eat, nutrients, this and that, red light therapies, different things. It's almost like it becomes like a game. Now, some people might say that's a little bit, you're going a little far, a little obsessed, okay, there's other things people can be obsessed with. There's a lot of things people could waste their time on. As long as it's not taking away from, my family and my religious activities and my work, what's wrong with being obsessed with being healthy? Especially if it gets your family involved in it. My kids now work out. I got them their little weights. They're doing resistance training, obviously within reason because they're still small, but just trying to teach them habits early. So hopefully this has been beneficial, guys. If you liked this video, do me a favor, please like and subscribe it. Now, in the next video that I do here, I'm going to be showing you what my workout routine is like right now, some examples that I'll give, because I know that one of the hardest things for me in the beginning when I was working out was feeling like I even knew what to do, like what was my routine, and it took me a month and a half of flopping around random stuff on the gym before I felt like, okay, now I know what I need to do. Now I know what's most beneficial. So I'll get you with that on the next video.